Against this background, the Governing Council decided the following. First, we will continue to conduct net asset purchases under the Pandemic Emergency Purchase Programme with a total envelope of 1,800 billion euros until at least the end of March 22, and in any case, until the Governing Council judges that the coronavirus crisis phase is over.
How many Bitcoins does it take to get some goddamn respect in this town?
What's going on, guys? It's K-Dub here with another episode of CryptoZombie. Welcome back to the channel. Hope you're having an excellent day today. Definitely a mixed day in the markets today as Bitcoin did break an all-time high over the weekend. And we do know that things can get a little bit tricky when we have CMEs opening again, right? Futures don't trade over the weekend. So we might be in for some kind of crazy price action in the next 24 hours. But I will talk about why Bitcoin is potentially set to actually continue on its upwards trajectory, even if we do have a little bit of craziness in the short term. I want to talk about some data that is showing us right now we have massive volume for buying pressure. I also want to discuss the fact that former Goldman Sachs manager Raoul Pal thinks that Bitcoin could actually hit $1 million potentially at the peak of this super cycle that we're in right now. I know that sounds pretty crazy. I also want to go over the NFT craze, NFT mania. And finally, I have a very important message for new people to Bitcoin, people just getting into Bitcoin. And if you have a friend, a family member that's skeptical, sitting on the sidelines, definitely watch this video all the way to the end, because we do have an important message that I think a lot of people out there really don't truly understand right now. And I think we need to kind of clarify that. So if that sounds good to you guys today, that's what we're going to do. Super quick video. We're going to talk about that crazy price prediction. Also let you guys know what I'm looking at in the immediate short term for Bitcoin as well as Ethereum. And if you're not subscribed, well, we do this every day, so you might as well get subscribed so you don't miss out on these updates. If you guys like making money as well, we have 3 altcoins that have done absolutely insane. One of them did a 27x. We're going to talk about that. Are there still the possibilities for those 100x gems out there? Well, I think that there is that possibility. So let's have a look at Bitcoin super quick though. Bitcoin looking very, very nice. As I said, we broke above the previous resistance right here. We had beautiful test consolidation in the blue box territory, and we are probably looking for a potential retest at the $5,800 level where we had the peak right here. Lots of resistance. I do expect that to be support. I am expecting a bounce right here, even if we do have a little bit of a shakeout back down, just simply maybe even to close the CME futures gap, right, which would be sitting here at around the $58,000 level. That is a possibility. We were looking at this potential cup and handle pattern forming on Bitcoin futures. Looks like it's probably going to play out. We'll see that in the next 24 hours. Regardless, as I said, lots of volume and buying pressure. So what would I be looking to trade right now? Well, the trend is your friend. However, we are in this giant ascending wedge and we are smack dab in the middle of it. So if you had an opportunity to get in on those trades that I told you guys about, congratulations. If you hold them on low leverage, you're probably okay right now, but just keep in mind that there is the potential that we could come down and test the bottom of this before bouncing up to the top. To be totally honest with you right now, I'm not trading. This is kind of like no man's land, no man's zone, right? However, if we do break and touch the top of the resistance, then that would be an opportunity to short. I personally don't like shorting Bitcoin in an uptrend, but if you are good at those types of really quick swing trades, definitely check out my tutorial on Bybit. I will show you guys exactly how to trade these types of patterns. If you want, check out the tutorial popping up above, $200 in bonuses below. But like I said, essentially, check the tutorial out. But what you guys, if you follow the channel, you'll see that right now we're already in the trade. So this is a strange area to be trading. If we come down here, obviously you'd want to put in the long. If we touch the top, you want to put in a short and keep doing that as we continue to bounce before the breakout. And for everybody telling me right now, I can already hear you saying, well, isn't an ascending wedge a bearish pattern? I've gone over this time and time again, guys. We're in a bull market, so you can't be looking at these bearish trends and saying we're going to break to the downside. Yes, we could potentially come down here and retest around $50,000, but we're not looking for, some kind of crazy reversal where we're just going to fall all the way back down to some crazy low level. I don't see Bitcoin really going below 47,000. maybe ever again because of the amount of whale clusters that we've had actually buying down in those levels. But if you want to look at some on-chain analysis, which I think is just as important as technical analysis, you have Willy Woo revealing that Bitcoin is well positioned to stay above $60,000. He says this is a tandem on-chain metric that shows that investors' wallets are swelling by the second. So he basically says that solid validation of 60K Bitcoin already. The coins moving into investor wallets at this price level is already quite huge given the short number of hours we've seen so far. The buying rate is surging at an increasing pace, hence the likelihood that a correction is extremely low. Already we had our 30% correction at the previous high, and we just had another 22% correction as well. I don't see us having another correction really, at least for another month or so, like a major correction. I would assume that, we're going to trend upwards, probably hit the top of that level before having that next correction. But even so, keep in mind, that would only make the third correction that Bitcoin has had, moving up. Our first one being from here to here, our second one from here to here. And the thing is we had about 8 of these in the previous cycle. So this would really only be our third one. So this is why Bitcoin is definitely poised for bigger gains. And at the price right here, you can see on this Glassnode chart. So this right here is called the UTXO realized price distribution. And at the price point of around $59,400, there's about $200,000 flowing into investors' wallets. They say this number could also potentially surge from here on, and simultaneously the price could move upwards. And also we saw on-chain data in yesterday's video. If you didn't check that video out, we were talking about a lot of the buying coming from long-term hodlers who haven't sold in over a year, right? So this is accumulation. In fact, I think what we're doing right now is accumulating potentially before the next move. Now, Raoul Pal, he is a former Goldman Sachs executive, and he had an interview with Peter McCormick, and he says that a $1 million mark for Bitcoin is possible this cycle if we do continue on a parabolic rally that we have seen in the previous charts, especially as Bitcoin starts to curve right towards the end of the blow off top, right? He says, I've peaked at $1 million, but not for this cycle, but it's possible that we overshoot. So in other words, he's saying he doesn't see $1 million as like where we're going to hang out, but it could be one of those blast off wick tops, and then who knows, we can go up to $1 million and then Bitcoin can fall all the way down to 250,000. Then we have a 70% correction. And then everybody's like, oh my God, Bitcoin is dying. It went from $1 million to $250,000, right? But that would be what we would expect to see in Bitcoin regardless. So he does say that he uses a regression line and looks at the trend on the logarithmic scale. And basically it says somewhere between Plan B's stock to flow, which is about $288,000 and $400,000. But it could actually hyperextend to get as high as it did in 2013, which would give us 1 million. So I think it's skewed slightly higher than people expected. I don't think it gets to 1 million, but we have institutions coming in. We've seen it go parabolic before. So with this dynamic, we're not sure how that's going to change it. By the way, check out the interview if you guys haven't over at Peter McCormick's channel. But he also highlighted a key level as potentially a psychological barrier for Bitcoin, which is the $100,000 level. $100,000 level is very psychological. I personally expect there to be some kind of a correction, some kind of profit taking at that level. A lot of people got in at around the $10,000 level. 10,000 to 100,000 is a 10x. Psychologically, people want to take profits, right? So just be wary of that. But he does say that there is that potential, even though it's not his target goal, that we could see a wick up to, that $1 million level, which I don't think it's out of the cards. I just don't imagine that we stay there. I mean, that will, for me, will be the blow off top. And that would probably be time to start considering, maybe taking some profits off the table. If that's your thing, I'll never sell all of my Bitcoin. I will always hold some Bitcoin, probably forever. I'll pass it on to my kids and hopefully they'll pass it on to their kids, right? Somebody who maybe won't be owning any Bitcoin is Dave Portnoy, who actually did have an emergency press conference to congratulate all his Bitcoin people after it breached 61,000. He said, I want to congratulate all my Bitcoin people out there. When you're wrong, you're wrong. I was effing wrong. Can't take Bitcoin, the ups and downs. I effed up. And if you guys don't know, he purchased about $200,000 on August 13th when Bitcoin was trading below 12,000. And unfortunately, he sold it for a loss about a week later. So, unfortunate story for Dave Portnoy, but here's something extremely important. And I guys want you to, if you guys enjoy this type of content, feel free to like the video and share this with a friend, because this is the most important thing I want to just point out there. So many people think that like they can't make a difference, or they're too late to the party, or unfortunately, some people still don't know that they can buy a fraction of a Bitcoin. They still think that, oh my goodness, Bitcoin is 60,000. I can't afford that. Well, people need to get educated. They need to understand that, number one, you can buy fractions of Bitcoin. So stop looking at the overall value of a total Bitcoin, right? Even though psychologically, humans want to own one round number, right? And two, understand that you can make a difference. For example, you have this pizzeria, right? And by the way, shout out to Crypto Potato. This was a great article. I'm really glad to see, the news covering guys that aren't just Michael Saylor and Tesla, the little guys, I think, is really where the story truly unfolds. And you can see right here, Greg Hamilton. So he's the co-owner of Sam and Greg's Pizzeria, and this is over in Alabama, I believe. And he recently commented on Michael Saylor's endorsement for Square's $170 million Bitcoin purchase, and he said that he actually decided to move $200,000 of his own company, the pizzeria that he owns, money into Bitcoin, $200,000 into Bitcoin. While admitting that he feels he was late to the party, he believes that these technologies represent the smartest use of the internet to date, creating a positive disruption that will shake traditional finance. So this is what he had to say. He said, so why Bitcoin for my business? This is them right here, by the way, his family. He says, the simple answer is that I have worked hard to save money, and I don't like seeing it disrespected and devalued. I also do not appreciate politicians and central banks reducing the value of the American worker to the speed of a printer. Bitcoin solves these problems. The simple forces of a fixed supply and unlimited demand are in play, making Bitcoin the obvious choice for the go-to store of value for those simply needing a place to preserve capital, no matter what size the business. He says his aha moment came in April of 2020 when we had, the crazy outbreak of the pandemic, etc. And we saw the consequences of what had happened after all of the money printing. So his Bitcoin investment, by the way, is up 350% since he bought. And he also said that he decided to go with Grayscale because he didn't want to custody it himself, which is what a lot of people don't want to do. Most people don't want to be their own bank. Most people don't want to own the underlying asset, which brings me to the sort of objective of bringing this story to you, which is essentially that, look, you don't have to own your own Bitcoin. And I know that the libertarians would tell you that that's not Satoshi's vision, but look, guys, the average person is used to losing their password, calling up their financial institution, giving them a secret phrase, and getting their password back and getting their account unlocked. Obviously, most of the world is not ready for that responsibility yet. So this is why, yes, we have options like Grayscale Bitcoin Trust. We have the opportunity to buy fractions of Bitcoin. And yes, we always talk about the S&P 500 and all these companies that are going to buy and the billions of dollars that they're going to put into. But if you just take these little mom and pop shops and $200,000 for every little mom and pop shop, there's probably more of them than there are, S&P 500s in the world, and they can make a difference, and it will make a difference. So I just wanted to share this story. Once again, shout out to Crypto Potato, because these are the types of stories that you don't actually hear about enough in the space. And this is very important for, hodlers and people looking to get into Bitcoin and cryptocurrency to understand these principles. Okay? So I hope you guys enjoyed that. Shout out to Greg and his family for doing that. Now, let's talk about Ethereum. What is going on with Ethereum? So we have been sitting on the edge of our seat waiting for Ethereum to have this massive breakout, and it just keeps slumping behind Bitcoin. Now, we do have that FUD, April 1st, that's coming out, with these miners that are looking to try to do the 51% on the network, etc. They're revolting against the Ethereum proposal 1559. But look at Ethereum once again retesting its Bitcoin comparative. So you would think that this would say that Ethereum is looking for a breakout moment. However, zooming in right here, and I know this is like the simplest chart you can ever point out, but I mean, guys, look, ever since, January, the beginning of January, Ethereum has been hitting resistance. We flipped above it for a little bit, we fell below, and we hit resistance again. So, I mean, it's not per se looking to be a weak chart. I mean, we still have, the trend going up, higher. Well, actually, technically, this is a lower high. We have had higher lows, but, we saw Bitcoin smash through this resistance easily. And also, Ethereum's all-time high was $1,400. So to double that, it would have to go to 2,800. We've seen Bitcoin way beyond its all-time high of 20K to 40K and now to 60K. So, if that's the case, we should be 3x over this, and yet we're still not even double. Ethereum is definitely lagging. I still think that we could have that breakout, but there is a lot of uncertainty right now, right? A lot of people are worried about the gas prices on Ethereum. They're worried about the scalability of Ethereum. They've been using things like Binance Smart Chain, right? Having these, virtually almost zero fees to do trading. So we really do need to see that upgrade. We need to see those fundamentals. However, the one thing that I will say is that a lot of people that have been talking about investing in Bitcoin, especially these big institutions, I will tell you that their next number 2 on their list after Bitcoin is not Binance. It's not Polkadot. It's not Cardano. It's Ethereum. So I do expect the next big wave of institutional investments to flood into Ethereum, which could be the catalyst, but we also need to see that 2.0. We need to see that gas fee reduction, right? So for me, guys, this is looking for a potential retest all the way back down at around 1664. Now, we may not get down to that level, I'm looking at right here, but we have to break above this resistance. Bitcoin did it, when did it break above? Bitcoin broke above it on March 9th right here, and Ethereum is still lagging. So yeah, keep your eyes on that, guys. But nevertheless, Ethereum is on fire right now, especially with the NFTs. We've seen Apex Twin auctioning off an NFT, Kings of Leon releasing theirs. We saw Beeple sell for, I don't even remember, what was it, like 70 million or some crazy number? So this bid for this one is already $57,100. Now, NFTs, they do sort of they make us ask those questions. Where is the line between using someone's likelihood and copyright infringements, right? It's kind of an interesting thing because you can see right here, BitClout, which says they're a decentralized social network and marketplace, they sold off a bunch of celebrity-backed NFTs without authorization, and they explained that the company created NFTs using the identities of about 15,000 Twitter influencers and celebrities without their consent. Prominent personalities like Jake Paul, Kanye West, Drake, Billie Eilish, and a few others had their identities tokenized and sold on the blockchain. And apparently now, I didn't check it, but they said the website can no longer be accessed. So what was this all about? So there are still those questions as to, those gray areas of NFTs, but NFTs are here to stay, guys. In fact, 3 projects that I told you guys about have been absolutely booming. Eternity Chain, which I told you guys was going to be huge, absolutely booming. $126 million market cap, up another 28% today. In fact, if we scroll down here, it's up a total of 880% from its lows. So it's looking at almost a 9x already. The other guy that I told you to keep your eyes on was Chain Guardians. This one's up 51.7%. This was another project I told you guys about before it even came out. This one is actually up almost 200% from the low, and probably the craziest one, which is actually a blend of decentralized finance. Also, NFTs are something that could be introduced as well. Shroom Finance. I mean, my goodness, guys, this is a 100x coin from the time it first got on our radar, and since I mentioned it on the channel, it's up about 27x. So I'm not telling you guys to rush in and buy it. I'm not saying that at all. But I am telling you that this shows me that there's still massive interest in decentralized finance and clearly the NFT boom, which has been going on since the likes of, Engine Coin. I actually did an interview with the CTO of Engine Coin. I did 2 of them, actually. You can just Google Engine CryptoZombie. I mean, we've been looking at NFTs for multiple years now. So it's not surprising that this kind of thing has happened. And, this is why I am keeping my eyes on a lot of these projects before they come out to let you guys know so you can do the research. We also have, over here, this was Jigstack. These guys, right, they're claiming to be the Microsoft of essentially the Microsoft of decentralized finance. They say by providing everyone with equal access opportunities for DeFi, rather than focusing on just one group of users, the Jigstack DAO and its protocols lower the barriers to entering the decentralized finance space. Ultimately, Jigstack will put DeFi into the hands of everyone, regardless of their technical expertise or experience with cryptocurrencies. And this is exactly what Uniswap kind of started doing, which was making it like a lot more accessible for the average person to use decentralized finance. despite the ridiculously high fees, right? Well, these guys, they say with hundreds of projects all focusing on doing just one thing, there's a lot of room for future improvement. And through their DAO model, they're going to revolutionize the space with a broad offering of DeFi protocols. The community governs every product or protocol under the DAO structure. And they did just raise 2.7 million. They had guys like Block Films, Moonwell Ventures, DHC Capital, CSP DAO, X21 Digital, BlockSync, etc. So yeah, definitely keep your eyes on that. And wow, I have to say, I have never been so overwhelmed with community requests to talk about odds finance. I mean, literally, on my Twitter is exploding over this. So having a look at this right here, you see what these guys are doing is they're being the multi-chain options trading platform on Binance Smart Chain, Polkadot, and Ethereum, right? Now, we've already seen, some of these other things like antimatter as well. And these are all the types of instruments that are going to be moving into the decentralized space. And here's like the craziest kicker about these guys is that they're actually able to do zero gas fees. Zero. Incredible, right? You're probably asking yourself, how do they do this? Well, they actually explain that a little lower if you check out their website. But yeah, I mean, obviously they have, premium calculation, transparent. They're really focused on the interface, the user experience, customized options as well. And they actually will have both conditional and perpetual tokens. So like essentially they say create or trade conditional tokens for any events. So you can tie this to political, geographical, sporting, essentially anything you could think of, you could have a token to represent an if this then that scenario, right? Which is pretty cool. Obviously trading leverage on perpetual tokens, this is stuff that we're already very used to. And they're saying that they're going to have for dApps as well. You can build different dApps on it, etc. And one thing interesting is they say, why are they using an inbuilt oracle? Right? Oracles are huge. Chainlink, right? Massive. My dad's biggest holding, right? So due to the dynamic nature of the financial derivatives markets, they say external Oracle solutions raise security and slower request processing concerns. So Odds Oracle is dedicatedly built for derivatives markets feeds, which eases accessing real-time data for seamless derivatives. So basically, it's more specific for what they're trying to do, right? So they recently partnered with DAO Ventures, and they're saying that this integration will allow DAO Ventures tools into the ecosystem, which will efficiently contribute to simplifying DeFi investment for odds users. It will allow platform users to access DAO Ventures' intuitive dashboard. And they say, since we focus on retail and institutional investors, we're aiming to leverage the power of DAO Ventures to create a seamless user experience, allowing novice users to manage options, trading portfolios, along with diverse DeFi investment positions. So, I mean, this was essentially the next thing, right? We've seen it with Injective, Antimatter. Now we're seeing Odds Finance take it to the next level as well. But, as I always say, just because we're talking about something on the channel, always do your obviously own research because, for example, and I'm not going to go too much into this, but My Crypto just said that there was some sort of a widespread hack that compromised various social coins, leading to a massive dump. So you could see right here, I mean, this is just insane. 99, 99, 87, 64, 55.4. So, I mean, if we have a look at this, it looks like a single transaction routed through a ton of social coins and led to what looks like a 40 ETH payout. So, I don't really know too much about this. They're looking into it right now. They have had Roll looking into this. But just be careful out there, guys. Be careful out there. And that's exactly why, you are seeing a lot of these regulations. They are concerned about cryptocurrencies. They are worried about how to integrate them. And, for example, the Canadian Securities Administration, they essentially have issued new guides to improve the quality of disclosures related to crypto assets. Now, the important thing to note about these types of sort of guidances is that they're not looking to essentially ban it. They're looking to actually try to integrate it. In fact, the actual quote from them is the crypto asset industry is relatively nascent and notably present unique accounting issues and auditing challenges. Or presents unique accounting issues and challenges. The guidance is meant to support crypto asset reporting issuers in providing the information necessary for investors to make informed investment decisions. So basically, in a nutshell, we are seeing it here to stay. Bitcoin is here to stay. DeFi is here to stay. NFTs are here to stay. Who will win? Who will be the successful one? I mean, there's going to be thousands of altcoins. They're not going to all survive. Many of them will crash 99% or more. But at the end of the day, the space is here. eyes are on it. Decentralization is the future. If not 100%, it at least will have a place to stay. And that is it for me today. So thank you so much for coming back to the channel. If you guys have not checked out my Femex tutorial, definitely check it out, popping up above right here. And thank you so much for coming back to the channel. You guys rock. You're the reason that I do this every single day. And if you haven't checked out these videos popping up right here, right now, check them out. And until next time, stay crypto. And of course, peace out.